Christmas video heads, and happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, unhinged solstice, Saturnalia, and so on. Today I'm going to talk to you about a series of films that you've probably never heard of, the Niko series. As a connoisseur of children's talking animal media relegated to the bottom of your favorite streaming services' AI-generated recommendation lists, I saw the first film quite a few years ago, probably not long after it was released. For years, I mostly forgot it along with the second, but I gave them a rewatch recently and I have opinions. Furry opinions. Let's dive in, shall we? The most interesting thing about the Niko films is that each one of them holds the distinction of being the most expensive movie Finland ever produced when they were made. Each subsequent installment kicked up that price tag even more. The first film had a budget of 6.1 million euros, or about $7.1 million. To put that into context, Disney released Bolt the same year with a budget of $150 million, a large enough budget to make about 21 additional Niko films. Keep that in mind as you watch this video in case your knee-jerk reaction is that it looks cheap. It looks like what it cost, I dare say. The first film's basic plot concerns a little reindeer, Niko, who has been raised with the belief that his hit-it-and-quit-it father was one of Santa's reindeer. In this universe, they're called Santa's Flying Forces, and the movie spends a lot of time building them up as this mythical group of super animal reindeer. Niko and his mother Una live in a commune of decidedly ordinary reindeer who aren't too keen on delivering presents. Their main concern is avoiding predation by wolves, led by the creatively sinister Black Wolf.
Go out there, find food, find reindeer.
Niko believes he can fly like his absentee dad if he just tries hard enough, but his surrogate dad Julius, voiced by Norm Macdonald, is trying to keep him safe by putting realistic expectations on his dreams.
I almost flew this time, didn't I, Julius?
You sure did, Niko. You sure did.
When has that ever worked? It's a great setup, and the peril of being eaten alive is a pretty good plot motivator. After an altercation with the wolves, Niko runs away in search of his father in Santa's Fell, which definitely sounds like a Dark Souls location. I love a movie where the plot is just, "Oi, mister, you me dad?" By the way, I'm not saying Niko to mess with you. That's how they all pronounce it.
Where's Niko?
Niko!
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 Something I love about this movie is how furry it is. It treats animals like animals, barring a few examples, and even asks a few interesting questions about real reindeer versus fantasy reindeer, and even things like what it means to be a dog among wolves. More on that later. For now, check out this defensive formation where the reindeer form a whirling mass of hooves, horns, and bodies to protect the vulnerable herd members. This is exactly how they do it in real life, and apparently it's called a reindeer cyclone. They spend all their time as nomads and love to gorge on moss beneath the snow. There are so many realistic details in this film, like Niko's mom licking him, reminding you these are animals no matter how adorable and stylized they are. The fact that it was made in Finland, a country where reindeer are a wild species, gives it an air of legitimacy an American film simply wouldn't have. That said, there are some species of reindeer in American territories. But would an American reindeer movie be made with the approval of Rovaniemi, the official town of Santa Claus? I don't think so. The wolves in this are surprisingly complicated villains, and their motivation is to devour the reindeer. Excellent. Except it's even richer than that. Black Wolf wants to eat Santa's reindeer because he subscribes to ritual predation and believes he will gain magic powers from the flesh of his conquests.
By eating our enemies, their strength will become ours.
And then he ups the ante.
We're gonna eat Santa too!
That's right. Black Wolf's plan is to A, devour Santa and his reindeer, and B, take Santa's place in order to eat all the children of the world.
Just think of all the delicious little boys and girls.
Wow. I don't care what your favorite Christmas movie is. If it doesn't have an evil Cockney wolf intent on eating Santa's flesh and replacing him so he can wiggle down chimneys to consume a large percentage of the human population on Earth, it's garbage. Amid the ranks of scarred and grizzled predators like Smiley here, yes, that's his name in the credits, there's Specs, a lanky vegetarian wolf with a soft heart.
Well, those reindeer are meanies, boss. I mean, look at poor Smiley. They nearly crushed him to death.
And if you think this movie sounds good so far, wait until you hear about the B-plot. A pink poodle has gotten lost from a nearby ski resort.
I'm Essie. Nice to meet you.
And approaches the wolves thinking they're other dogs. This is Essie, and she's a precious bimbo the wolves are keen on eating. In fact, it's Essie's big mouth that gives Black Wolf the idea to eat Santa in the first place, so he decides to keep her around. The way that he talks about her makes me sweat.
You're a wolf.
And you're a marshmallow, sweet and tasty.
Hey, I'm Pink, aren't I? In times of peril, Specs protects Essie and they quickly grow closer. She even saves his life once or twice. I just love the idea of a show dog bred for nothing but beauty getting mixed up with crude, feral wolves who call her a sweet marshmallow. She cozies up with the only other wolf who doesn't fit in with the pack, and it's the sweetest thing ever. If you like the way the bad guys movies discuss being bad guys, check it out. Even these wolves know they're bad guys.
Doing bad things is kind of a tradition for us wolves. But we're not all like that. Nasty, I mean.
While our hero's journey to the North Pole, aided by Wilma the singing stoat,
Well, there's something that I wanna say, and there's something that I gotta do.
the wolves track them down. Wilma is sort of lovably obnoxious because her role of wacky troublemaker is usually given to a wacky male character.
Improved aerodynamics.
Wow!
She was made to be cute, and if you don't understand why a furry might think she's wife material, look at what she does with this blueberry. The movie really gets interesting when Niko and his friends finally reach Santa's Fell and meet Santa's flying forces. They're in the middle of a training exercise that also introduces us to Santa.
We almost broke Santa.
Oh, it's just a dummy. Thank goodness. Listen to their little song about how cool they are.
Everybody knows the flying forces.
We're reindeer, we're not horses. We're Santa's flying forces. Ho ho!
Now that their training is done, they go get trashed in a bar. A barn? A barn?
If you're needing more barley brew, over.
Look at them guzzling actual beer. You don't see that very often these days in the interest of making everything as bland and moralistic as possible. And just when you think it couldn't get better, Wilma starts singing a sexy song about which one of these guys is Niko's dad.
This boy has come a long way today, and one of you shares the same DNA.
They greet her by name and go crazy when she starts performing.
Low boys.
Wilma!
So it's clear they all already know her and that she probably sings and dances for them a lot, but definitely in an 8 gay guys hollering over Liza Minnelli sort of way. These reindeer all have individual designs and to some extent personalities, and there's a lot of small details in the animation that I appreciate. So in order to determine whether Niko is the child of one of Santa's flying forces or not, Niko first has to take a flying DNA test. He fails thanks to the overprotective meddling of his surrogate tragic backstory squirrel dad, and then the wolves attack.
Santa, the wolves are here!
Never thought I'd hear that sentence. Black Wolf even gets to wear the hat, so you can get a sense of what he'd look like if his plan came to fruition.
There's a new Santa in town.
In the end, however, the flying forces band together with Niko, who has discovered his power of flight, and they defeat the villain by going to warp.
Santa speed!
This movie really has it all. Santa appears right when he's not needed, and I must say, I like this Santa. He's got a high wizard ratio, and he'd look right at home in Bloodborne. I like a Santa with a high wizard ratio because it makes him feel more otherworldly, like he's more of a seasonal amalgamation of feelings of generosity toward our fellows in this dark period called winter. For more information, check out this diagram. According to this data, a very goofy wizard Santa is extremely rare. Possibly because wizards naturally tend towards seriousness in their study of magic. But if anyone can think of a goofy wizard Santa, please let me know in the comments. We only get a few hints at the world of the North Pole in this movie, but this is the most fascinating Christmas world building since Rankin Bass's Rudolph. I know I've been doing a lot of spoilers, and I'm going to be doing a lot more, but if you don't want to know who Niko's dad is, I guess stop watching this video, because I'm going to be discussing it a lot. Okay, still with me? It's Prancer. His dad is Prancer.
You can call me Dad.
Meaning, Prancer screwed a wild reindeer woman. Here he is, done up with his harness and jingle bells, but when it was time to father a child, he wanted it wild and rampant in the snow and dirt.
Your dad was the handsomest reindeer in Santa's flying forces.
Tells us a lot about him. I really love the resolution of the dog-wolf plotline because Specs is going to go be a dog with Essie.
Hey, you want to go see if there are some leftovers in Santa's kitchen?
That sounds like the best Christmas present ever.
I wish them many cozy evenings by the fire together. I'm surprised I don't hear more people talk about this movie, particularly in my corner of the fandom, considering how wild people are for belching. Just look at this. Excuse you, gentlemen. So, a few things about this movie before I move on to the sequel. First of all, it's lit extremely well for old CGI, and there's a lot of intention behind certain shots. Take a look at this one with the moon and Wilma. Stunning. And speaking of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, here's Yharnam, the North Pole, from Disney's Red 1, released last year. For comparison, here's the North Pole of Niko. I know the movies are different genres, but yikes. Niko was released in 2008, so Ice Age is really your American equivalent to this movie. Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs was released in 2009. Niko is telling a deep story about parental bonds and self-sacrifice and responsibility, and Ice Age is a vehicle for career comedians whose sole purpose is to gently inform aging Gen X men that yes, being a dad sure is wacky, but gosh darn it, you're gonna do okay. Movies like Niko are what people pine for. Instead of doing the twist villain so frequently that you have to underdevelop your supporting cast to bait the audience and then make your characters lampshaded in the script, why not go back to actual villains with their own compelling dynamic, pursuing their own goals beside the heroes? What's wrong with that?
I'm going to miss you, Specs.
But alas, we are the bearers of the curse, living in a society that is vehemently anti-art at every level. Look how the Americans advertised this when they brought it over. Let's compare the posters. The original Finnish poster suggests a wondrous adventure, and the US cover suggests a sugar-addled trip to the toy store for some Christmas-flavored gruel. I don't think most people get this movie because it's not squeaky clean. It's rough around the edges and a little filthy, and that's what makes it feel more realistic. Just because your perfect little wasp child balks at the idea of a single parent doesn't mean all the children of divorces with absentee parents don't deserve a movie that they can relate to. And so what if a kid with two parents sees that maybe some other kids only have a father or a mother? That's life. All that being said, the bad reviews of Niko are incredible. Here's a few from IMDb circa 2010. One of the reindeers asked the others if they took a lady for a flight, and all of them answered like they were at a bachelor party.
Do any of you remember taking a young lady reindeer flying one Christmas?
Yeah,
right.
Let me guess, didn't have the time to show the flashback to them at a strip club shoving acorns in the ladies' saddlebags. The main character is the result of a one-night stand. Santa's reindeer are very open about the fact that one-night stands are a common occurrence during their Christmas Eve travels. Oh, you mean like the entirety of Western masculinity bragging about one-night stands? And here's some from Common Sense Media. There's a subplot about figuring out which of them is Niko's father that could be considered perverted. All of them remember having one-night stands with pretty girl reindeer. Incredible. If this doesn't convince you to watch this movie, I don't know what will. This behavior, by the way, is standard for reindeer. According to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, those males who win antler combat choose a, quote, harem of between 5 and 15 females. Well, that's nice for reindeer, but I'm sure they would all go crazy for just one wolf. If this film's low score and bad reputation was because it was a bad film, clunky, with a flat story, whatever. But most of the bad reviews I found focused specifically on the objectionable elements, which parents are going to notice and kids are probably not going to understand. I don't really see how the off-screen implications are any worse than, say, The Lion King's on-screen implications. Try as I might, I can't find a copy of the 45-minute cut version shown on CBS, which is too bad because I'm really curious if they cut out all the drinking and parentage discussion for TV. The Niko films are the children of 3 studios, Anima Vitae, Cinemaker Oi, and A Film Production AS. In an interview with producer Petteri Pesonen about the first film, he revealed that Anima had produced a reindeer commercial for Finn Air back in 2003. Here's that commercial.
Mennäänkö yhdessä, kun meillä on sama matka?
Pretty cute. Could this be the inspiration for what became Niko? I kind of wish they were a little bit more realistic like this, but I guess it's a kid's movie at the end of the day. Pesonen really shows you how the sausage is made, explaining they chose a family film because it's the easiest to get financing for, and also that he and his team wore antlers at financing meetings. The script had 2 drafts before being rewritten by an American scriptwriter, but they scrapped that and went for a 4th draft. What I wouldn't give to see that hot mess. In addition, Niko won Finland's highest award, the Jussi, for Best Script and Best Film in 2008. Stellar. One last thing, the score in this first movie is just incredible. Good job, Stephen McKeon. On to the sequel. As I talk about the second movie, I will completely spoil the first movie, so if you don't want to be spoiled, check out now. Or just watch on mute. It's better for my analytics. This is Niko 2, or as I like to call it, Let's World Build Just for Santa's Reindeer. The actual title is Little Brother Big Trouble, A Christmas Adventure. The sequel opens the same way as the original, but Niko's training with the forces now. He still can't go Santa speed, which is these movies' equivalent of Warp 10. The first movie is all about Niko finding his father, and it ends all neat and tidy. But in the second movie, they explore how their family dynamic is complicated by a separated parenting scheme, which is rarely represented in animated family films.
Finally! And what time do you call this? Where's Niko?
Don't worry. You know, as long as Niko's with me, he's perfectly safe. Well, pretty safe.
Niko's biological father, Prancer, remains a himbo, but he's trying. I honestly can't remember the last time I've seen a plot with a stepdad and a real dad in an animated animal movie. It's modern, it's complex, it's real. I want to take a second to point out the way that more advanced CGI has not necessarily improved everything. Sufficiently stylized CGI can be super old and still look great. Meanwhile, hundreds of millions of dollars are being pumped into movies where the eyes are these goopy, hyper-realistic soul voids. So Niko has a new little stepbrother because his mother, Una, has fallen in love with Lenny, a well-meaning reindeer widower, and what follows is a family argument scene nearly as unnerving as Hereditary.
Dasher, Vixen, Donner, and Vixen.
Oh, you forgot Prancer.
Oh, I always forget him.
So yeah, Niko has 3 dads now. Prancer, Lenny, and Julius, who is kind of more uncle vibes in this movie with a greatly diminished role. After Niko's little brother Johnny is snatched up by eagles, he goes searching for him and comes across Tobias, his new grandpa friend.
I could count every green hair on your head from 50 paces.
That's moss.
Tobias is an old reindeer with secrets of his own who has gotten tired of being tangled up in the world's problems.
Out here, I don't need anybody, and nobody needs me.
He's pulled away from society just like so many of us, connected on social media but not in real life. He struggles with his vision throughout the movie. Also, he looks like a scraggly bloodborne monster. I love him. So after he calls Niko young lady because Niko is a pretty boy,
I've been keeping a watchful eye on you, young lady.
Young lady?
they set off to find the eagle's lair, complete with remarkably well-animated Mr. Magoo gags. Check out this amazing villain lair. So while Niko's trying to get his little brother back, the villains are doing these song and dance numbers to impress a shadowy figure.
That was beautiful, boys.
Who has them inexplicably obsessed with her. They're keeping Johnny hostage to get Niko to come, and then boom, the villain reveals herself.
I believe you knew my brother.
Black Wolf is your brother?
Was my brother!
This is White Wolf, Black Wolf's sister, and she is desperate to enact revenge on Niko. She uses her cajoling voice to coax the eagles.
And that doesn't make you the tiniest bit annoyed?
Occasionally slipping and revealing the inferno of rage within her. I absolutely love her. She is essentially the persona of the White Witch from Narnia, minus the Turkish delight.
Can't I have just one piece of Turkish delight to eat on my way home?
She's an amazing villain. Look at her sexy eyeshadow. She's just like me for real, Vicar Amelia looking ass. Every furry should imagine just once what it's like to have big wolf jaws like these while chomping down on a piece of meat. Even after watching the whole movie, I still don't understand why the eagles are so obsessed with her. Are they just her simps? Is she a cult leader? I know one thing for sure though, she's wily like a wolf. Una and Lenny are out looking for their kids too, but Lenny has lied to her about it and told her they've gone to see Santa's flying forces.
You're going to Santa's Fell to challenge Prancer?
Yes, I am.
He says he's going to go challenge Prancer, putting on this tough guy act that's kind of cute while also playing divorced kid 4D chess. Niko and the gang sneak in to rescue Johnny, and they're overhearing guard chatter like it's a stealth game.
We really need to get some light down here. It's so creepy. No! This is a dungeon! It's supposed to look horrible!
After they find him next to a bunch of reindeer bones, they make their escape, and Tobias proves himself a skilled flyer. Go, old man, go! The Don Quixote old man hero is a classic role I feel like we don't see much of these days, so Tobias is a great addition to this movie. He soon reveals that he used to be the leader of Santa's flying forces, but as he aged, his eyesight suffered and he missed 2 houses. 2 children didn't get presents that year.
My eyesight was starting to fail. Well, I didn't say anything because I was afraid I'd lose my place on the forces.
He has such high standards for himself that he banished himself just for this, pulling away from the forces and disappearing into the tundra under the belief that his friends must have forsaken him. Bitter old man of the world, I see you. It's going to be okay. I promise you can open up to others and they won't hurt you. You spent your whole life being what society wants you to be, maybe strictly, and it hasn't always panned out, has it? That's because there's always room for nuance, and there's always room for you to open up too. You might learn something, even at your age. Now, as the heroes head to Santa's Fell, White Wolf proves she hasn't given up yet. Her eagle minions are literally carrying her there, and she is so into it. Obviously, this kind of pair-up happens in nature all the time. When we see the flying forces again, they're still training for Christmas, and for the fans, they do this again.
Air pressure! Not bad at all.
Prancer splits off to meet Una and Lenny is still going with the lie of challenging him to a reindeer duel.
Now don't you act the innocent with me, flyboy.
This is pretty funny considering Prancer is a muscle himbo twice Lenny's size. White Wolf lays a trap for the rest of the forces by messing with Santa's fully automated workshop.
Nobody crosses the flying forces and gets away with it!
Really? Are you sure about that?
Because apparently these reindeer are also Santa's security guards. It's extremely funny that they operate like an inseparable unit. It's a very well-paced film because before you know it, Niko and friends enter another stealth action sequence to rescue the flying forces. While Niko distracts the single-minded White Wolf, Tobias and the others work on, not crushing the flying forces into a pulp. It's kind of rare to get these kinds of women villains who can perform incredible feats of agility and strength and are just barreling after the hero, shoving things out of the way. Look at this shot here. Wow. Right when she has Niko where she wants him, little Johnny gets her attention and uses the workshop to his advantage. And so our noble heroes defeat the evil villain with Christmas bondage.
Not quite.
Increasingly restraining Christmas bondage. It would be terrible if that happened to me. Our wizardy Santa briefly deigns to show himself again, and he's immediately like, "Oh hey Tobias, good to see you."
Good to see you again, old friend.
In fact, everyone is excited to see Tobias, and he comes to live with Niko's family. You love to see it. Consider even my frozen heart warmed. At the end, we get a glimpse of Una's new baby, Niko and Johnny's sister, as maybe a hint for the third movie, but the real kicker comes during the credits. White Wolf's cult of personality loves her so much that they keep her tied up at the end.
I love
Oh, we love you too.
Ooh, I hope something like that doesn't happen to me. That would be just the worst. Niko is full of amazing shots like its predecessor, from starlit skies to imposing towers of rock. Compositions like these remind you that it's punching way above its weight, with a budget of a mere 7.3 million euros. It didn't do great at the box office, but I guess it's become something of an institution for Finland, because 12 years later they gave us another sequel, released just last Christmas. While researching, I took the liberty of pulling up the old website on archive.org, and it has little character profiles for everyone. Apparently Una is a strong and independent woman. In contrast, White Wolf is referred to as a femme fatale, and the eagles can't resist her charms. Unfortunately, web snapshots for the first movie don't work thanks to the tragic loss of Adobe Flash in 2020, leaving the internet a pale shadow of its former self and committing billions of websites to inoperability. Isn't the ceaseless march of technology great? That brings us to the third movie, Niko, Beyond the Northern Lights, released in 2024. I wanted to watch it last year, but it was impossible to find at the time. There's something exciting about a brand new movie, considering I mostly delve into old VHS finds. And I was not prepared for Niko 3 to be the best one by far. I'm going to spoil everything about this, just so you know, but I highly recommend watching it first if you can get a hold of it. They literally made The Lion King 2 but with reindeer. The first thing we noticed about Dear Niko is that his voice has dropped.
You mean I'll never be home for Christmas again?
The plot concerns Niko leaving home to train with the Flying Forces, and at first I was a little upset that this dispenses with a lot of the characters from the second film, including Niko's newborn sister, little brother, and stepfather. But according to the filmmakers, this is the end of Niko's coming-of-age journey and further films are possible. While watching, I realized, oh, this is a true trilogy. It's not just piles and piles of sequels like Alpha and Omega, and they may have even been thinking where they were going with all this from the beginning. Julius and Wilma, who were downplayed in the second movie, have a lot more screen time in this one, which feels true to the trilogy format where a large, connected cast steps in and out of the spotlight. So Nepo baby Niko goes to Santa's Fell to get ready for his perma harness, and his trial to become a junior Flying Forces member is interrupted by a flying female? That's right. In Niko 3, Niko goes up against woke feminism while the Flying Forces, all male, look on and wonder. One of these dudes is purple, and one of them is named Vixen. For Sona Energy, the spunky new girl Stella proves to be a fearsome combatant, and she makes it clear to Niko that she has a traumatic backstory that she does not want to discuss.
What's your story?
Oh, it's nothing special.
During their training, they go into the Northern Lights, actually beyond the Northern Lights, and it's just like a weird giant space brain full of dendrites in there. Can any environmental scientist tell me what it's like inside the big puffy clouds that make up Aurora Borealis? This pubescent idiot starts falling in love between training sessions and decides to show Stella Santa's sleigh, which is for some reason hidden behind a video game puzzle. But when he wakes up the next day, Stella and the sleigh are gone. She's a spy. She's a spy, and she just stole Santa's sleigh. Incredible. Niko's real dad grounds him. He was just a himbo in the first two, but now he's dadding. You love to see it. Stella takes the sleigh back to her family of sexy, evil reindeer, led by her father, Ilmar. Ilmar is the intimidating, capital B boss of the evil reindeer consortium, whose members wear homemade shibari bondage harnesses and operate out of this JRPG location I like to call the Crystal Island Tower. One of them is even a lady. I love her big, thick, fur coat-looking neck detail. Ilmar's dark backstory is that he was betrayed by Prancer, and Prancer has absolutely zero wiggle room on this one. He did a bad thing. Man, it used to be bros before does, but then does happened. Not cool, Prancer. Because of this, Ilmar wants to ruin Christmas, so the Flying Forces lose their jobs and the Storm Forces, that's Ilmar's group, can take over. I love that in this universe, all reindeer care about Christmas and their culture seems to revolve around it. There's a subplot with Julian and Wilma and this weird lemming cult of big-handed minions following them around, but it leads to a hungry Wolverine, which is pretty nice.
I knew I'd heard food.
Since there are no wolves in this movie, this is the closest we get to a toothy beast. Niko infiltrates the Crystal Island Tower and finds Stella hitching up the sleigh to bring it back. But her evil father catches them.
Stella, fraternizing with the enemy?
Father, please!
And throws them into reindeer jail. Prancer helps him escape, and there's an incredible chase sequence through ice that looks much better than the ice in Frozen, and sort of gives original trilogy Star Wars vibes. The chase ends in a stalemate between the Flying Forces and the Storm Forces, and they lock horns while Niko and Stella follow Ilmar's lick-spittle son to retrieve the sleigh before it's too late. Niko gets stuck inside the hallucinogenic Northern Lights and confronted with specters of his father's disapproval.
You'll never be a hero either.
But Stella punches through because she has never had second thoughts about anything. She follows her brother Morton, but can only watch helplessly as he does the unthinkable and throws Santa's sleigh into space, where Santa can't get it. This may be the greatest film franchise of all time. If you have any doubts about that, here are some luxurious shots of Prancer's big deer butt. I'm not a praying woman, but this truly is a miracle. He just launches himself at us. Anyway, the battle continues and the Wolverines come back to make the most of this reindeer lunch buffet.
Thanks.
There's a moment where Julius and Wilma are about to be eaten by a Wolverine and you can see them just give up for a second. Hard to watch. Luckily, Julius' cultists show up and scare away the Wolverines because apparently all of them are allergic to lemmings. Stella tries to recover the sleigh, but she falls short, and her frozen body floats in space until Niko can recover her. What a little hero. He passes out and wakes up next to his big nuzzly dad. I don't know about you, but when animal parents nuzzle their kids, I get all misty-eyed. As I'm sitting there begging the movie to let Ilmar show his daughter some affection, she recovers, and we get to see how much this big daddy deer loves his baby girl. So cute. Ilmar and Prancer reconcile and venture into space to get Santa's sleigh back. And when Ilmar passes out, Prancer is there to guide his bro back to safety, thus righting the wrongs of the past. But Morton hasn't gotten the memo. He attacks the sleigh, resulting in the melancholy image of these presents falling. Back on Earth, the reindeer groups have teamed up to battle the Wolverines, performing sick moves like the infamous reindeer helicopter. Ilmar talks to his son about his actions and says the following.
No, Morton. I filled your head with hate, with anger, and tales of revenge. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
A regretful father saying this in a movie in 2024 is kind of beautiful, and I hope it inspires a few fathers to think about what their hateful views are doing to their children this holiday season. So the cultist lemmings find all the presents and save Christmas, and then the reindeer all get together and sing Jingle Bells.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a reindeer open sleigh. Oh.
It's important to note that when they sing the song, they replace one horse open sleigh with reindeer open sleigh because they're reindeer, they're not horses, and they're Santa's flying forces. Ho ho! Santa finally shows up to see all the new reindeer joining together to pull the sleigh, and he's just like, oh hey, seeing some new faces here. Cool. Let's get the show on the road, everybody.
I see we have some new faces this year.
With the off time they've gained from having more reindeer around to work sleigh duty, Niko and his dad and the others get to go back to where the wild reindeer live and all celebrate Christmas together with a big cart full of apples. After another nice father-son chat, Niko and Stella slip out to have some more fun flying together. Adorable. And the song over the credits is pretty lovely too.
Driving home, letting go. Oh, this year's been so cruel.
There you have it. Essentially The Lion King 2, but with reindeer. And as a third part in a trilogy, it has a bit more weight for having had this build-up of Niko's development in the first two films. Niko was the one who rebels against his father's hurtful actions.
Understand, son.
No!
And Ilmar is witness to this. I think it's interesting that Ilmar has the opportunity to set his own son straight before he furthers the generational trauma. That thread leading to this father and son getting to be at the front of the sleigh is a sweet message about how bonding over vulnerability and discarding hate can lead to positive outcomes for men, sorely needed in times like these. This movie does not disappoint. It's the best looking one yet, and it's full of more shots with gorgeous backgrounds and some pretty intensely laid out action sequences. The story feels like a throwback to the family movies of the late 90s and mid 2000s, and that is not a bad thing. There's a nice familiarity to it. The soundtrack suits the epic landscapes and Shakespearean drama. And although the stakes might seem silly with Christmas hanging in the balance, you have to remember that these are personal stakes for the reindeer and accept that they care about this in the same way that humans care about stupid, silly, pointless things all the time, such as Christmas. It's been a lot of fun sharing these films with you, and I hope you make a point to track them down. They're a great seasonal watch, even if you're not wild about Christmas, because the first two films focus more on reindeer drama and less on sleighs, if the holiday itself isn't your thing. I do wish the characters were just a touch more realistic, because they're a bit too top-heavy, and their noses are a bit too lacking in detail. The ones with contrasting colors on their snouts look way better because of this. Like, come on, give us some cute sniffy nostrils. Caribou are currently vulnerable, according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, with a population decline of 40% in the last 25 years. Some species and subspecies have already become extinct. While domestication prolongs domesticated reindeer's relationship with humans, wild reindeer, called caribou, who are incredibly important to many Inuit, First Nations, and Indigenous peoples, are threatened by habitat loss, climate change, deforestation, and poaching. According to Wild.org, Sweden is deforesting its old-growth trees at a faster rate than the deforestation of the Amazon. What can you do to help? Check out the Caribou Conservation Alliance, a Canadian nonprofit which works with Indigenous people in their mission of education and protecting caribou populations. Caribou Rainforest also has some great resources on conservation efforts, and also they accept donations. If you're from the US like me, consider going to protectthearctic.org, which provides tools to write your representatives to encourage them to protect against expansions of drilling in Arctic territories. Finally, go visit the Atna Intertribal Resource Commission's website to learn about their caribou and wolf projects, among others. I'll include the links to all these below, but remember, there are likely more conservation groups out there in your country that you could look into. Be sure to research the group you plan to donate to and consider donating in the names of your family and friends as a Christmas gift this year. If that doesn't work for you, consider running for office so you can dismantle profit-motivated environmental destruction efforts and destroy greed in the spirit of the human soul by establishing universal basic income and restructuring society to value a better life for more people mindset, rather than a money number go up mindset. Sounds easy, right? Future generations of adorable big-eyed caribou babies and the furries who love them are counting on you. Isn't that right, Prancer?
Check it out! Who's the daddy? Yeah, who's the daddy? Yeah, who's the daddy? Yeah, me!
Once again, I would love to thank my wonderful $10 Laserdisc Patreon supporters. It used to be $5, but I had so many names to say that I bumped it up a little bit. So for this month, I will be saying all the previous $5 one last time, and the new $10. If you're interested, go to my Patreon, where for only $10, I will strap your name up with a Jingle Bell harness and crack my whip. So thank you, April Doe, Juno Crocuta, Bitter Corella, Cindy, Medicine, Spatchadoo, Goblin Horde Studios, Calanitas, Ferret Fire, Liam Antine, King Butt Stallion, Starlight Prancer, Nobody 26, Iris J, Aldraki, Pathia Red Toner, Dr. J, PhD in Moon Bunnies, Fellis Rin, Warbird, Kara Deserti, Kaosu, Jimbo Husky, Tosca, Neon Tape Your Guts, Kadath, Chrono Flash, Dominic Foxley, Victor the Mewtwo, Kilbaro Khan, Delano Possum, Alex McFall, Joe the English Otter, Silly Scotty Dog, Cookie Trails, Plexo, Graham Stoat, Stubadub, Crown, Norman Whitetail, Princess Isabella, Vera Lycaon, and Miorja. Thank you all so much for joining me this season, and I'll see you next year.